My husband and I are getting ready to film my labor and delivery story, but this is my sweet little Monroe. She is 1 week and 1 day old. She just ate, so she's napping, so I figured it was a good time to try and film this video. But I wanted her to make a quick little appearance. I love her. Do you have any kids?
Yeah, I got one.
What do you have?
A little girl.
How old is she?
8 days old.
That sounds cute. What's her name?
8 days old. Monroe.
That sounds nice. So your wife had a baby?
Yeah.
And how'd it go?
It was pretty awesome. She I mean, she was a champ through the entire process. Didn't need an epidural, didn't need any drugs or anything. She was just au naturel.
So this video is my labor and delivery story. My name is Christina and this is my husband Gordon. And we just had a baby. She's 8 days old, and we just wanted to share a labor and delivery story. I thought it was super helpful to look at different other people's videos and stories and see kind of like what their experience was and kind of what to expect. And so I wanted to do the same thing. My labor started when I was 39 weeks and 5 days pregnant. Started naturally. I actually vlogged like the night before saying things like, I want this baby out, get this baby out. I can't imagine being pregnant for forever longer, and I went into labor the next morning at 4:15. So when I went into labor, I felt like kind of like a little cramp, like little period cramps. So it was the morning. I went to the bathroom and there was like a little bloody show, and so I got like pretty excited, and I went and woke my husband up and I was like, I think it's starting. And so I just had like mild cramps for a while, like I could sleep through it. My husband went to work for a couple hours and then came home, and I was just home like by myself, just kind of like, you know, talking to my mom, like giving her the heads up, talking to a couple friends and being like, hey, I think it's happening today. And everything was like very manageable. Like I was like, this is gonna be it. My baby's coming today. It was September 27th. I was like, this is happening today. I had it in my mind. And I had like watched lots of videos and heard lots of stories, and I knew like I wasn't trying to go to the hospital like right away. Like I wanted to wait until I was like sure that it was like imminent. So I labored at home all day. My parents came around like 5, I think. And they were gonna be in the area. They live a couple hours away, so they were gonna be in the area. And so they came to our house, and you know, so laboring and like my contractions the whole entire time, they were like pretty consistent, like maybe like every, I don't know, like 5 to 10 minutes, like in that range, but they weren't super strong and they weren't getting stronger. But they were like pretty close, like the entire labor, they were pretty close to each other. And so it's just like at home waiting, looking different things up. And then it got to the point where I was like, okay, I think like if I wait much longer, I think that I'm not gonna be able to sit comfortably in the car. And so we started like getting everything ready. What else? What was happening?
Started packing things up, getting everything ready to go. Contractions had gotten really close together, but
they got like a little, they were always close together. They were never like an hour apart. They were always like closer. They were just getting stronger.
Packed snacks.
Yeah, I had some snacks. I had packed most everything, but I just like was doing the last little bit of like, okay, what do I want? What do I need? Let me back up. Laboring at home, did I do anything special?
Not.
I don't think so.
Breathing was good.
I was just like breathing, just like calming breaths, and like I took like a hypnobirthing class. We watched videos together, and I don't know. It's like, it was helpful. It was offered like good information. I also had planned to use a doula. Like there was somebody that I was in touch with, and it came, like when it came down to it, I just never felt the urge to like call her and be like, hey, I want you. Like I felt fine with just me and just him. So that was that. But being at home, like I think I probably like cleaned up a little bit. Like I just was at home trying to tidy everything up and get the last little bits of things like ready to go. But like nothing crazy was happening while I was laboring at home. And so when we got to the triage room, they checked me, everything like that. And then once I was admitted, I was very excited. So it was probably like 7 o'clock when I got admitted. And we went back to the room, and what else? We got into the room. I was wanting the labor tub, the water, my entire pregnancy. Like, I was dead set on getting the tub. And so when we got there, I was like, is the tub available? And they were like, yes. And I was like, yes. I was jazzed. And so we were gonna move rooms. So like, we were in the regular room, and then we were gonna go into like the tub room, and I thought we gotta stay there, but I just took one little bath. And then she was like, okay, somebody else.
I mean, it wasn't
room.
little, it was like
I was in there, yeah, I was in there for like, it was like 45 minutes, an hour.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think being in the tub, like, it felt nice, but I think it like slowed labor down a little bit.
Maybe.
I was probably like a 4 when I got in there at like 7, maybe a 5, and then by the time I got out, an hour later, I was still like a 6. And then they checked me a little after. So I think it actually slowed down a little bit, but it felt nice to be in the tub. Like, is it that important to me next time? Probably not. But I'm glad I got to experience it, and it did help. So I was just in the room. They had me strapped to like I had like, what did they put this? What's this called? Like a lead? What is this?
IV.
And yeah, they put like an IV thing in you. They didn't put anything in, but they said they wanted it just in case I needed medicine. So I just had like this thing attached to me with nothing in there. And then I had the contraction monitor on me, and then a monitor for the baby's heart rate, my blood pressure cuff, and I think that was the only thing that was attached to me. And so that was it. I was just like in the room laboring. We had some music going. I had snacks.
I was DJing the event.
Yeah, he was my DJ. I had some back rubs, and I asked for snacks, so I had like peanut butter and cheese and fruit and stuff. It was late, and so the cafeteria was closed, but I think if it was like during daytime, I could have had like a meal, but they said I could eat, so that was fine. So I was eating, drinking, and just like breathing, like nothing real exciting, just like contractions are getting worse, closer together, like it's uncomfortable. I tried like laboring on the toilet, so I was like facing the back of the toilet, just like resting on it. Where else? I was on the bed. I was on like the bed was like propped up with the back like this, and so
all
like
fours with the pillow underneath you.
Yeah, like on all fours with like my back against my stomach against like the back of the top of the bed. That was really comfortable, and I stayed like that pretty much the entire time I was in labor, with the exception of getting up and going to the bathroom. I was getting so annoyed because I wanted to like keep moving around, and the freaking heart rate
monitors that she had kept falling off.
I hated them.
They had to keep reattaching them. They had to keep coming in and readjusting them. So then they tried doing one that was like a Bluetooth.
So okay, so there was like the regular one where you see like women with like the belt strapped onto them, right? And then I kept moving, and they're like, okay, we can try this Bluetooth monitor. Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It had to pair for like 10 minutes.
So I had to stay still for 10 minutes, which was fine, but I was like on my back, just like, pardon the interruption. We had some barking happening.
It was this guy.
He's really rude sometimes.
He's good. They're good alarm systems though.
So I was moving around. They had to take off the monitor. I was just getting real pissed off because they kept like touching my body, like just let me be. And every time I had to get up to go to the bathroom, there was like the pole that I had to like switch the things to so I could take my monitor to the bathroom with me. And I was like getting up kind of a lot, maybe like once or twice an hour. Like I'd want to go to the bathroom. It felt like I just had to like poop a bunch, and I just wanted to like hunch over on the toilet. That felt comfortable to me, but like any other position did not feel comfy. So laboring, the monitor, like they just kept like messing with it, and they're like, okay, we can try this like Bluetooth thing. So it was like maybe like a plus sign shape, or did it have like more like probes?
There was like a magnetic thing in the middle, and then there was some leads that came off each side. It was a square, so it was kind of plus sign shape, but not really.
It was like this. It wasn't huge, but like just like went on my belly.
It took up the size of like a grapefruit.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, and so like when they were like connecting it, I had to like stay still for like 10 minutes, and that was fine. So like just waiting, and then they're like, okay, once this is in, you can like be free to move around. And I thought that it was gonna monitor everything. It was just for the baby, so I still have the contraction thing on me. So they were still like messing with that, so that was annoying. So it was like not as great as I wanted it to be.
And then it stopped working after like an hour.
And then it stopped working, so then they tried to like reconnect it again. It didn't work, and then I was like, okay. Then they said, we can also try the fetal monitoring, where they essentially put
They put a lead underneath the baby's scalp.
Yeah, sounds scary.
Yeah, sound
Sounds scary. It's not. I mean, there's always something that could go wrong, but like, it's what they do. So I was like, okay, they need to monitor the baby.
The first layer of the dermis. Okay.
So that's what they needed to do to like,
like this long.
To make sure. I didn't see any of it. They just needed to make sure like baby was okay. Obviously, like that's make sure my baby's okay, get my baby out healthy, safe. And so they're like, okay, what needs to happen is we need to break your water. At this point, they had checked me and I was like a 6 or a 7. They're like, we need to break your water. And I was like, can this wait? They said, yes, but we're not able to get a good like read on the baby. And I was like, well, like, let's just wait a little bit. Like, I'm not quite ready. And they're like, okay. And in this room, I have like the nurse who was like assigned to me along with like a couple floaters, I guess.
Yeah.
And then like the head like midwife doctor. So there was one person in there with me like most of the time, along with like 1 or 2 throughout like the hour, just like doing their rounds. And so all this is happening, you know, she's checking in with me, blah, blah, blah. The midwife is like, okay, I think we need to break your water. And I was like, don't want to. She's like, what's the, like, when she came back the second time, she's like, what's your hesitation? And I was like, well, when my water breaks, I don't want this pain to be unbearable. Because at this point in time, it was like,
it was bad.
It was hurting. Like I think after I got out of the tub and we were back into the room, I think my eyes were closed 95% of the time. Like in the zone, just like, you know, breathing, doing what I gotta do. She was like, well, here's the thing. You're at the point now where it doesn't matter if we break your water, your pain level is pretty much like what it's gonna be at. And I was like, all right. So they're like, okay, we're gonna break your water and then we're gonna put this thing on the baby and monitor the baby. And so I laid on my side. I was like 7 centimeters, and this is probably like 10-ish at night, maybe.
Yeah.
It's probably like a 10 at night.
I came in with their instruments and it was like this. It honestly looked like a larger crochet needle.
Yeah. And my eyes were closed this whole time. Again, I still didn't. Ooh, was the midwife the one who broke my water?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I still don't know my eyes. I still don't know what's happening. So they broke my water and it felt like, it was really warm.
It felt like she peed.
It was just like, felt like a bunch of like it felt like I just like peed my pants, but it was like really, really warm. Like I didn't, like obviously it's coming from my body, but I didn't expect it to like feel so warm. So I was like on my side, she broke my water. It was like a gush for like 5 seconds and then it was over with like occasional, like every time I moved, like some fluid drips. And he saw it all. He watched it, everything, the whole thing. I didn't see it.
Right in there.
Just see it all. So after my water broke, like honestly the pain did not get better or worse. It like pretty much was where it was at. So I went back to my labor position of like on all fours, like over the back of the bed and getting up to go to the bathroom. And they immediately after they broke my water, they like did the fetal scalp monitoring. I don't even know what it was actually called. They did that and that was like, it just felt like they were in my business for like 30 seconds and then it was done. Like it didn't take super long. So they did that. It wasn't uncomfortable or comfortable. It was just like something that was happening. So they had the monitor on the baby. So it was like a lead, like a string up through my cervix into the baby's scalp, attached to I don't even know what. And then I labored for another 2-ish hours, but
during this time, she was not aware of really anything. I've asked her questions about if she remembers this or if she remembers that during this 2-hour and some change stretch.
In my head, it seemed like from the time, when I remember back, from the time they broke my water to the time I felt the urge to push, it was like 15-20 minutes. In my head, that's how I remember it. It was 2 hours. And I know it was 2 hours because he had texted my mom and a couple friends that my water was broken. And like I said, I took like a hypnobirthing class and I don't know what happened, but like I truly cannot remember that 2-hour like chunk of time. And I think it's possible that I fell asleep.
She wasn't asleep. It was more like when you're a little kid and you're having a really, really fun time and your parents tell you, oh, you've got 2 hours to play. And you feel like you've been playing for 20 minutes. But really it was 2 hours. That's how it was for her.
It was like, I was in this zone of like, I don't know what was going on. So the hypnobirthing class, they like talk about like mantras and positive affirmations and all of this like, all these different things, right? And there was one mantra or like affirmation that was, that I like kept saying, and it was like every surge, like contraction, every surge or contraction brings you closer to meeting your baby. And so like I kept like thinking that like, okay, like this pain that I feel is gonna be closer to meeting my baby. Like, all right, let's deal with it, it's fine. And I would picture this like just like, part of me is a hippie. It's just, that's who I am. I would picture, like visualize like my cervix like opening. I would visualize my cervix expanding. Like every contraction I had, I visualized my cervix getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I would say to myself, okay, every surge gets me closer to meeting my baby in my head. And it was manageable. Like it came to the point where I wasn't even like, I was probably like moaning and like humming, but I wasn't like screaming in
She
pain.
actually sang a little bit too.
And
it was on key.
I cannot sing, so if it was on key,
it was on key.
Labor makes me sing well, I guess. But at one point in time, the midwife came in with somebody, so the door was open, and we could hear another woman in a different room yelling, screaming like at the top of her lungs, and it really like messed with my vibe for a little bit.
I was in mid-conversation with our nurse. We had to pause so that we could just let this woman get out what she needed to get out.
It was
because it
bad.
was crazy. Apparently it was like a 12-pound baby, so I understand. Kudos to you, but man,
it was, yeah. Anyway, so I was in my zone. For me, laboring was a very like quiet, peaceful experience that was painful. Like it hurt. Like labor hurt so much. And at one point, I had like the shakes. Like I was like shivering.
that was later. That was later.
That was the, yeah,
before she actually got to the point where she was saying, I don't want this anymore. I want this to be
like
over.
I wanted like in my head it was like, give me a C-section, just cut me open and take this baby out.
This is probably about the time when most women are asking for that epidural, but at this point it was too late.
I think it was fun. I was probably like 8 or 9. So yeah, that's too late to get an epidural for a lot of people. But it's like, it's this point where it's like, nope, get a baby, cut me open. Like give me major surgery because I don't want to deal with this pain anymore. But I dealt with it and I got my baby. But I had like the shakes probably around like 8 or 9. Like I had like the like shivers. I was sweating.
Like somebody had opened up a Arctic door.
I was like,
the delivery room.
It was like when I got to go to the bathroom, I was like, it was bad. It was the shakes. Got to the point where it was like, oof, like it felt like something was starting to happen. And so I went to the bathroom one more time. I had to poop. For real this time, I actually had to poop. Not like it felt like I had to, like I had to poop. Went to the bathroom, went back to the bed, laid, and was like, I kind of did like a test push. It was kind of like me like bearing down, kind of seeing like, I didn't tell anybody. I did a couple of those. And then the nurse was like, or the midwife, I don't even know who was talking to me. She was like, let us know when you need to push. And I was like, okay. I did like a couple more test pushes with the contraction, and I was like, I need to push. Like it came quick, like a couple tests, and then I was like, nope, need to. Your body knows what to do, and it's crazy because it felt like there was no way that I couldn't not push. Like I had to. So did a doctor come in, or was still the midwife? My eyes are so closed, I don't know what's happening.
So at this point, she said, I think I need to push. They called the doctor in. It was some guy that we had never even seen. Yeah. He'd been making his rounds that night.
Yeah. I think they came into my room because the baby, her heart rate was like fluctuating, and so I think they wanted the doctor there to like be safe. So it came time to push. I was still on all fours. They said, okay, baby's heart rate is declining, move to your left side. And I said, I can't. I couldn't move. And the nurse said
the baby needs you to do this.
The nurse says your baby needs you to do this. And then I was like, okay, like that was like what I needed to hear. She said your baby needs to do this. And I was like, all right. So then I moved. It was not fast, but I moved. So I was on my side. I had my leg up in the air. You were holding my leg. So I was like on my side with my leg up. I think I like pushed. And that's when the baby was crowning.
Yeah, and the nurse looked at me and she said, oh, did you see that? Baby has a lot of hair. And I had missed that. I was looking at her face when that happened. Then the doctor told us that, you know, she was gonna need to turn on her back. At that point,
I was unhappy because I didn't want to push on my back. I was like, do I have to? They're like, the doctor said yes. Well, he said, your baby's at risk for shoulder dystocia. And I had heard this on like other people's like YouTube or like Instagrams, like there's like a couple like nurses that I had been following. And so I knew what this was, but I also kind of felt like the doctor, like the vibe definitely changed when the doctor came in versus when it was like the nurse and the midwife. The doctor was very like, this needs to happen right now, do this, versus the midwife being like, do you feel comfortable with this? Would you like this to happen? But like it comes to the point where it's like, I'm not gonna argue with you while my legs are spread and my baby is like coming out. Like just tell me what needs to happen, even if I'm not like pleased about it. So I moved to my back and he said, okay, like scooch down. And it's just like a lot to ask for a woman in labor to like move in a specific way. Like, what do you want from me?
They started laying down all of these, I almost want to say tarps, but they weren't tarps. They were
like pee pads?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of absorbent pads
Yeah.
and everything. And there was like a bucket for catching all the liquid and everything. The doctor got on his little stool and was right there in the midst of everything. I was holding one leg. The nurse is holding her other leg. A little bit. You pushed when you felt the next contraction, which was right after that.
So also, let me back up. Towards the end of labor, the contractions, like you don't get a break. They just like keep coming. Like it's a long continuous contraction of like, this hurts, 2 seconds of, okay, now, like it's not even a 2 second break. They just like are continuously coming. So when I was pushing, it was like push, okay, then he was like, take a break, don't push, like to give my body a chance to like stretch, I guess. And then when I pushed, I was on my back and it was like go time, right? He was like, okay, push. And what happened?
She pushed, and this was after she crowned the last time.
And then he was like,
She
push,
pushed
push,
this
push, 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 push,
and
push,
you
push,
just
push.
see a tip of her head, and then bam, whole baby came out. Whole baby came out.
It was, and he said push, and I just remember like, I just kept pushing because they were like, push, 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 push. And I was like, okay, well like, if I can do it, I want to keep doing it. So I don't know how long I was pushing for.
She was pushing for maybe
It wasn't that.
couple minutes. One push was like 30 seconds.
Like it was like a push of like, and I like breathed while like still bearing down. And I also remember them saying like, I was like pushing like my legs out and they're like, don't push your legs, push through your bottom. And that was hard for me. And they also wanted me to hold my legs. And I was like, no, my legs weigh 400 pounds each. I cannot hold this like thigh. Like no way can I hold my own thighs right now. So I like let them do it. Like he had one, the nurse had the other, and I was like, no, I'm not holding my legs. They're freaking heavy. So baby came out and one like, after the crowning push, like she came out and won a big push. And then
I wasn't expecting her to come out that fast.
I wasn't expecting it either because a lot of times they say like first time moms especially like you got to push for a little while, like an hour or 2 hours. I was like in that push zone for a few minutes. Maybe it was very quick. And like baby came out and like she cried immediately and they
She
like
shot right into the doctor's arms. Like his hands were up close, ready to catch the baby. She shot past his hands and onto his like further back forearm. Like she was just ready to go.
Baby came out, baby was on my chest, and I like opened my eyes like when I heard her, and like I looked down at her and I just like saw a glimpse of like her face, and I was like, she has his face. Like immediately she has his face. I looked at him, he was just like, I was just like, it was like shock. It happened so fast. She didn't have a lot of vernix on her or like even blood. She like came out like really like clean. Like, you know, then they gave her to me and like my placenta came out, like my next contraction, like he was like, okay, give me a little push. The placenta came out like pretty easy. It felt bizarre, but it was weird. But like we got to see it and like examine it, and that was pretty cool.
I wasn't ready for her to come out that fast. I also wasn't ready for the placenta. I've seen videos. I just wasn't quite ready for all that.
It was a lot to happen in a very short amount of time, but
it was awesome.
She came out, you cut the cord, and like and after this point, like I still kind of like had the shakes. I was definitely like in shock.
You were shivering for like a
while.
solid 3 minutes.
It was a while, and they did like some delayed cord clamping. It wasn't, I think it was like 1 or 2 minutes. It wasn't super long. And then they, like, she stayed with me for like that first like hour solid. They didn't take her from me for a while, which I liked. And I didn't like cry, like I didn't feel overwhelmed with like emotion. Like I think I was just like so in shock that it just was like crazy. So she was born at 1:11 on September 28th. 1:11 in the morning, which happened to be our 5-year wedding anniversary. We also found out we were pregnant with her on my parents' wedding anniversary, so that was really sweet and special. So like I didn't cry. Like I thought that I would like be overcome by this like, my baby's so beautiful, like I love you so much. And it's like, my baby was beautiful and I love my baby so much, but it was just like more like, oh my gosh, like this is my human. And like I didn't cry, I didn't like feel like sad, I didn't feel like, it was just like, my baby's beautiful and perfect and like, this is my baby. I'm a crier too, which is weird. I didn't cry. You didn't cry either.
No.
No. So our baby was born.
I had to take a seat. I had to take a seat for a second. That was when they put her on your chest, and I was looking at you guys. I was still comprehending the fact that I just saw her, that all of that happening.
Yeah, he watched everything come out.
So I had to just take a seat and just like absorb.
I asked the nurse also, I was like, did I poop? And she didn't answer, and I was like, did I poop? And she was like, don't worry about it. I really liked the nurse. She was great. She was great. And my baby, so I had my baby and our parents came like very shortly after. And she, like, we tried nursing right away. She cried. I mean, like, it was like very peaceful. So we like were in the labor room for like 2 hours, and then we were moved to like the recovery room where we stayed for a day. And it was very like it was peaceful. Like it was a beautiful labor and delivery, like beautiful. It hurt a lot, and I don't know if I would have a natural labor again. I remember telling the nurse like, I'm getting an epidural next time, and she was like, honestly, like your labor was pretty quick. It'll probably be quicker next time. I was like, oh, okay. So we got to the hospital at like 6:30 p.m. and she was born at 1:11 a.m. So it was very quick. Besides like the first beginning stages of labor, which was from like 4 in the morning to like 4 in the afternoon. So we have a baby girl. She's beautiful and perfect. And it was absolutely no drugs. Like when they came in the next morning, they're like, do you need ibuprofen or something? And I was like, no, I'm good. So I didn't have any drugs. I feel really good about that. I feel just like a real badass, you know? I feel like anybody who delivers a baby, it doesn't matter if it's like cesarean or like vaginal or with drugs, without drugs, like you badass anyway, because having a baby is crazy. But I just like feel really proud of myself because that's the labor that I wanted, and I'm proud that like my mindset got me that delivery that I wanted also. And we have this perfect, beautiful baby girl, and I still like my husband. You like me too?
Yeah, you're pretty cool.
You want another one?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
We'll see what happens, but that's our story. It was pretty crazy. I'm tired. We don't sleep. I mean, he sleeps more. Do you sleep more than I do?
Yeah, I sleep more.
Yeah, he does. But I'm gonna go get my baby now. Bye.
Not if I don't beat you there first.
Bye. This is my 8-day-old baby. She's so perfect. I never want to forget what this sweet little angel looks like. Ever. She's the best. When she was born, I only saw my husband, and now I see little pieces of me too.
There's a lot more to it.
Hi, sweetheart. I love you.